Number 1. The 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 Big Block 4-Speed. The 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 is one of those classic American muscle cars that can easily fly under the radar. While many enthusiasts immediately think of Mustangs, Torinos, and famous 428-powered Fords, the Fairlane offered something truly special: serious big block performance in a relatively understated package. This particular example is listed at $28,000 in Westbrook, Minnesota, and is described as a factory S-code 394 barrel, 4-speed car with a limited slip rear differential. It has only 11,596 miles showing, although buyers should always verify the mileage history before assuming it is original. Finished in presidential blue over a parchment vinyl interior, this Fairlane has the classic sleeper look. It may not have the aggressive appearance of a highly modified muscle car, but underneath the clean styling is a factory big block combination that gives this car a serious performance pedigree. The heart of the car is the S-code 390 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. The seller correctly points out that this is a different engine combination from the more common 392-barrel cars. The S-code 390 featured its own performance-oriented carburetor, intake, cylinder heads, exhaust components, and other specific hardware, making it a significantly more desirable configuration for collectors and performance enthusiasts. Power is sent through a wide-ratio 4-speed manual transmission and a 3.00-to-1 limited-slip rear axle. This gearing combination is particularly interesting because it gives the car strong low-speed gearing while allowing comfortable highway cruising in 4th gear. According to the seller, the car can cruise at approximately 2,000 revolutions per minute, making it an excellent choice for long-distance road trips. And this is not simply a car that has been sitting in a garage. The seller states that they have owned it for more than 10 years and have taken it on multi-day road trips. The car is described as completely roadworthy and ready to be driven home across the country. Recent maintenance includes fresh transmission, rear end, and coolant fluids, updated driveshaft and U-joints, a service clutch and shifter, new clutch-related components, and a recent alignment. The rear axle has also received new Timken bearings, new posy clutches, and new axle seals, with the differential set slightly tighter than factory for improved traction. The ignition has been upgraded from traditional points to electronic ignition, while the carburetor and electronic choke are reported to function properly. The car also has a new heater core, serviced heater and vents, updated seatbelts for all 5 occupants, and an updated factory-style radio with an AUX connection and amplifier. The Fairlane remains largely original and stock, with a few tasteful modifications, including an aluminum police interceptor-style intake, a newer Holley carburetor, and 15-inch wheels. The seller also has the original 14-inch wheels available for trade. Cosmetically, the car is not described as perfect. There are some bumps on the deck lid and roof, but the seller emphasizes that the car remains very presentable and has a solid undercarriage. So, is it worth the $28,000 asking price? In my opinion, this is one of the most interesting cars on this list. A factory S-code 394 barrel with a 4-speed manual, limited slip rear, solid body, extensive mechanical maintenance, and genuine long-distance drivability is a combination that is becoming increasingly difficult to find. The 1968 Ford Fairlane 500 may not have the instant recognition of a Mustang or a high-end Torino Cobra, but that is exactly what makes it so appealing. It offers genuine big block performance, understated styling, and the kind of usable, road-ready character that allows its next owner to actually enjoy the car rather than simply display it. For $28,000, this could be an excellent opportunity to own a rare and highly desirable Ford big block sleeper with the performance credentials to back up its classic appearance. Number 2. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro in Hugger Orange. The 1969 Chevrolet Camaro remains one of the most recognizable American muscle cars ever produced. With its aggressive body lines, long hood, short rear deck, and unmistakable presence, the first-generation Camaro continues to be one of the most popular classics among collectors and enthusiasts. This example is listed by a dealer in Addison, Illinois, with an asking price of $55,000. Finished in the iconic Hugger Orange with a contrasting black interior, this Camaro has exactly the kind of bold color combination that immediately catches attention at a car show or local cruise night. According to the listing, the car shows just 300 miles and is described as being in excellent condition. It also comes with a clean title and is reported to have no significant damage or problems. The Hugger orange color is especially fitting for a late 1960s Camaro. It gives the car a classic muscle car appearance that is difficult to ignore, while the black interior adds a sharp contrast and a more purposeful look inside the cabin. Although the seller has provided limited mechanical details, the car's reported condition and low mileage make it an interesting option for buyers who are specifically looking for a clean, visually striking first-generation Camaro. As always with a classic car, a serious buyer would want to inspect the engine, drivetrain, body, underside, and restoration history before making a final decision. In my opinion, this 1969 Chevrolet Camaro has the kind of timeless styling and iconic color combination that gives it strong collector appeal. The Hugger orange paint makes the car stand out immediately, and at $55,000, it will likely attract attention from enthusiasts who want a classic Camaro that looks ready for the next cruise, car show, or weekend drive. Number 3. The 1971 Chevrolet Nova SS Tribute. The 1971 Chevrolet Nova is a classic American compact muscle car with a reputation for simple styling, strong performance potential, and a lightweight body that responds extremely well to modern upgrades. This particular example takes that idea in a much more customized direction, with a build inspired by one of drag racing's most recognizable cars. Located in Auburndale, Wisconsin, this Nova is listed for $32,995. Finished in blue with a black interior, the car is described as being in excellent condition and has approximately 94,524 miles showing. According to the seller, this is a ground-up built replica inspired by Don, the Snake, Prudhomme's famous race car. The patriotic custom paintwork gives the Nova a distinctive appearance that is designed to stand out at car shows and events. Under the hood is a 5.3-liter LS-based V8, which has been built for performance and paired with a computer-controlled Holley throttle body fuel injection system. This modern engine setup offers a combination of strong power potential, improved drivability, and modern electronic control while still fitting perfectly into a classic Chevrolet platform. The seller also mentions numerous additional upgrades and custom features, although the complete list is not included in the advertisement. That means prospective buyers will likely want to inspect the car closely and ask for detailed information about the engine build, transmission, suspension, brakes, and other modifications. In my opinion, this Nova is aimed at buyers who want something far more unique than a stock classic. The combination of a ground-up custom build, LS V8 power, modern fuel injection, and race car-inspired styling gives it plenty of personality. It may not be the right choice for a purist looking for an original Nova SS, but for someone who wants a bold, patriotic street machine with a strong visual presence, this car could be a very interesting option. Number 4. The 1976 Plymouth Duster. What if I told you that for $22,000, you could own a classic Plymouth Duster powered by a 360 cubic inch LA V8, backed by a 727 automatic transmission, and equipped with a legendary 8 3/4-inch rear end. The Plymouth Duster may not have the same name recognition as a Roadrunner or a Barracuda, but these compact Mopar muscle cars have developed a loyal following. Their lightweight bodies, simple mechanical layouts, and excellent engine swapping potential make them popular with enthusiasts who want a classic that's built to be driven. This particular example is located in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and comes with a clean Wisconsin title in the seller's name. The seller describes it as a solid running and driving car, while also being honest that it is not perfect. Under the hood is a 360 LA Series V8, a popular Mopar small block known for its strong torque and excellent performance potential. The engine is paired with a 727 automatic transmission, one of Chrysler's most respected heavy-duty transmissions. For anyone planning to build a powerful street car, this combination provides a strong foundation. Power is sent to an 8 3/4-inch rear end with a large bolt pattern, another desirable Mopar component known for its strength and aftermarket support. Together, the engine, transmission, and rear axle give this Duster a drivetrain that can handle significantly more performance than the original factory setup. The seller also makes it clear that this car has been significantly modified from its original configuration. It originally came with a 318 V8, a bench seat, and a dark maroon metallic red exterior, but much of that has changed over the years. And honestly, that may be part of the appeal. This isn't being presented as a perfectly original survivor or a concours restoration. Instead, it appears to be a driver-focused classic that's meant to be enjoyed on the road. The seller describes it as a solid, running, and driving car that's fun to drive, even though it still has imperfections. So, is it worth the asking price? Personally, I think this Duster will appeal most to someone who values performance and driving enjoyment over originality. The 360 V8, 727 automatic, and 8 3/4 rear end are all strong foundations for a Mopar street machine. However, buyers should remember that the car is listed in fair condition, and the seller openly states that it's not perfect. At $22,000 or best offer, the right buyer could potentially negotiate a better deal and continue improving the car over time. If you're looking for a classic Mopar that already has the right performance ingredients and can be driven while you make it your own, this 1976 Plymouth Duster could be an interesting opportunity. Number 5. The 1967 Dodge Coronet R/T project. For enthusiasts who enjoy bringing forgotten muscle cars back to life, this 1967 Dodge Coronet R/T, listed in Newcastle, Indiana, for $13,000, could be an intriguing project. The seller describes this car as a complete R/T project that has been sitting for more than 35 years. It is currently showing 123,456 miles and is finished in red with a black interior. Under the hood, the original 440 V8 is no longer with the car, but the seller says it currently has a 400 cubic inch engine that will crank over and start. For buyers interested in a big block setup, a period-correct rebuilt 440 is also available separately for an additional $2,500. The seller clearly states that this engine is not the original numbers-matching engine, but it could provide the performance this R/T deserves. The car is being sold as a project, and the seller is upfront about its condition. After sitting outdoors or in storage for decades, the Coronet has rust and previous Bondo repairs, so this is definitely not a car that should be purchased expecting to drive home immediately. However, the seller also describes it as a complete car, and that's an important distinction. Finding missing parts for a 1967 Coronet R/T can become extremely expensive, so having the major components and trim already present can make a restoration project much more manageable. The seller also offers additional videos of the undercarriage, allowing potential buyers to better evaluate the rust and structural condition before making the trip. That's especially important for a car that has been sitting for over 3 decades. Personally, I think the biggest attraction here is the $13,000 asking price. A genuine 1967 Coronet R/T can be highly desirable, and the seller believes the market for these cars is rising. But this is a project that requires careful inspection, especially around the frame, floor pans, trunk, quarter panels, and any areas previously repaired with filler. At the same time, the seller's transparency is a positive sign. They openly identify the rust, Bondo, missing original 440, and long-term storage history rather than presenting the car as something it isn't. The 1967 Dodge Coronet R/T is one of the more underrated Mopar muscle cars of the era. And while this particular example needs substantial restoration, its complete configuration, R/T identity, and relatively affordable asking price could make it an exciting foundation for the right enthusiast willing to take on a serious project. Number 6. The 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner. The 1970 Plymouth Roadrunner is one of the most recognizable muscle cars of the classic era. Designed to deliver serious performance without unnecessary luxury features, the Roadrunner became famous for its aggressive styling, big block power, and unmistakable connection to the golden age of American muscle. This particular example is listed at $31,500 in Appleton, Wisconsin, and has been owned by the seller since the early 1980s. Long-term ownership is always interesting with a classic car, especially when the owner has kept it for several decades and knows the vehicle's history. Under the hood is a rebuilt 1969 383 cubic inch V8, which is not the original engine but has fewer than 500 miles since the rebuild. The engine was also upgraded to electronic ignition, providing more consistent starting and improved reliability compared with the original point-style ignition system. The seller still has the original carburetor and intake, along with a set of rally wheels, giving the next owner the opportunity to return the car closer to its original appearance if desired. Mechanically, the Roadrunner is paired with an automatic transmission, making it easier to enjoy as a cruiser while still delivering the classic Mopar V8 experience. The freshly rebuilt engine should also provide plenty of potential for enjoyable street driving once the remaining cosmetic work is addressed. The seller states that the body and frame are in good shape, with bodywork having been completed back in the early 1980s. However, the car is not being presented as a perfect finished restoration. The rear quarter panels need attention, and the interior also requires additional work. That is an important point for potential buyers. This Road Runner appears to be a solid foundation rather than a fully restored show car. The value will depend heavily on the condition of the floors, frame rails, trunk, and the extent of the quarter panel repairs needed. So, is it worth the $31,500 asking price? In my opinion, this is a car that requires a careful inspection. The combination of a 1970 Road Runner body, a freshly rebuilt 383 V8, decades of ownership history, and included original parts is appealing. However, the quarter panel and interior work should be carefully evaluated before making an offer. If the underlying body and frame are genuinely solid, this could be an excellent opportunity to own a classic Mopar muscle car with a strong foundation. The new owner could gradually complete the cosmetic work while enjoying the car mechanically. The 1970 Plymouth Road Runner remains one of the most iconic muscle cars ever built, and this long-term owned example offers the opportunity to own a genuine piece of Mopar history with a recently rebuilt V8 and plenty of potential for future improvement. Number 7. The 1965 Chevrolet Impala SS. The 1965 Chevrolet Impala SS is one of the most recognizable full-size American classics of the 1960s. With its dramatic styling, spacious interior, and unmistakable super-sport identity, the Impala SS remains a popular choice for enthusiasts who want a classic cruiser with plenty of road presence. This example is located in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, and is listed at $40,000. The car shows 36,000 miles and is described by the seller as a very clean and enjoyable cruiser rather than a concours-level show car. Under the hood is a 350 cubic inch Chevrolet small block V8, paired with an automatic transmission. The seller notes that the engine is not original to the car, and the Impala has also been upgraded with aftermarket bucket seats and a floor shifter, giving the interior a more performance-oriented feel. The car features several modern upgrades, including new aftermarket restoration components, front disc brakes, dual electric cooling fans, aftermarket gauges, and a retro sound Bluetooth radio. It also rides on distinctive Laguna wheels, measuring 20 inches up front and 22 inches in the rear, giving this classic Impala a much more customized appearance. Inside, the seller describes the interior as really clean, while the car's floors and frame are reported to be solid. The exterior still presents well, although the seller openly mentions some paint chips and a couple of small bubbles beginning on the passenger side rear quarter panel. In my opinion, this 1965 Impala SS is best suited for someone who wants a stylish, upgraded cruiser rather than a completely original collector car. The small block V8, front disc brakes, modern cooling system, Bluetooth audio, and custom wheels make it more comfortable and enjoyable for regular cruising. At $40,000, buyers should carefully inspect the paint and developing bubbles, but the car's clean presentation and solid structure could make it an appealing choice for the right enthusiast. Number 8. The 1973 Dodge Charger Brougham SE. The 1973 Dodge Charger Brougham SE represents a different side of the classic muscle car era. With its distinctive early 1970s styling, long hood, and unmistakable Charger identity, this car offers an interesting combination of classic Mopar character and a recently rebuilt drivetrain. Located in Blue Springs, Missouri, this Charger is listed for $10,000. It has approximately 131,630 miles and is finished in blue with a black interior. The car comes with a clean title and is described as a project that is still being completed. The seller says they have owned the car for approximately 10 years and have invested significant time and money into it. While the body shows its age, the advertisement includes photographs showing the current condition so potential buyers can evaluate the project honestly. The biggest highlight is the completely rebuilt drivetrain. Under the hood is a new 318 cubic inch V8, bored .030 over and equipped with new flat-top pistons. According to the seller, The engine was fully assembled with new internal components and was completed in October. Behind the V8 is a 904 automatic transmission equipped with a shift kit and a reverse manual valve body. The seller reports that all gears work properly, giving the Charger a more performance-focused driving experience. The car also features sound deadening added to the floor and some door panels, for brand new tires, and additional parts that still need to be installed. The seller has a set of leather seats and carpet ready to go, although the interior is not yet fully finished. Despite its unfinished appearance, the seller says the Charger runs and drives well, with everything from the wipers to the turn signals working properly. In my opinion, this Charger could be an interesting opportunity for someone who wants a classic Mopar project that is already mechanically far along. The body and interior still need attention, but the fresh 318 engine, upgraded 904 transmission, new tires, and functioning electrical systems give the next owner a strong foundation. At $10,000, the main question will be how much additional work is needed to finish the cosmetics and interior, but for the right enthusiast, this could become a very enjoyable driver. Number 9. The 1965 Ford Mustang two-door hardtop coupe. What if I told you that for $14,000, you could own a classic 1965 Ford Mustang with a 289 cubic inch V8, AC4 Cruise-O-Matic automatic transmission, a clean title, and a mostly original configuration? The first-generation Mustang is one of the most recognizable American cars ever built. Its combination of sporty styling, compact dimensions, and affordable performance helped create an entirely new segment of the automotive market. More than 60 years later, the early Mustang remains one of the easiest classic cars to recognize and enjoy. This particular example is a two-door hardtop coupe, finished in a classic gold exterior with a matching gold interior. The seller describes it as a nostalgic example that has not been heavily modified or abused over the years. Under the hood is a 289 cubic inch V8 equipped with a two-barrel carburetor. The engine is paired with Ford's C4 Cruise-O-Matic 3-speed automatic transmission, creating a combination that is simple, familiar, and well-suited for relaxed cruising. One of the biggest highlights of this Mustang is its originality. The seller says the car has not been heavily modified and remains largely stock, close to the way it was when it originally left the factory. The car is also described as running and driving very well. All the important basic gauges, including the fuel gauge, temperature gauge, and speedometer, are said to work properly. It also has a new fuel tank and new thin white wall-style tires, giving the car a classic appearance while improving its readiness for the road. And perhaps most importantly, the seller emphasizes that this is a running and driving 1965 Mustang that is not severely rusted or rotted out. For a car more than 60 years old, finding a solid foundation can be just as important as finding a powerful engine. The Mustang comes with a clean title in hand, and the asking price is $14,000 or best offer. So, is it worth the asking price? Personally, I think this Mustang could be an appealing entry point into classic car ownership. It may not be a high-performance Shelby or a fully restored show car, but that is exactly what makes it interesting. A mostly stock 289 V8 Mustang with an automatic transmission, a clean title, and a running, driving condition can be enjoyed immediately while still offering plenty of room for future upgrades. At this price point, buyers should still inspect the floors, frame rails, body panels, and other areas where hidden rust can sometimes appear. But if the car is as solid as the seller describes, this could be a great classic cruiser. If you're looking for an iconic first-generation Mustang with classic styling, V8 power, automatic transmission, and a mostly original character, this 1965 Ford Mustang Coupe is definitely worth a closer look. Number 10. The 1965 Ford Mustang. The 1965 Ford Mustang remains one of the most iconic American cars ever built, and this example, listed in Evansville, Indiana, for $14,000, offers a classic combination of vintage styling and recent mechanical upgrades. Finished in midnight turquoise with a black interior, this Mustang has one of the most recognizable color combinations of the 1960s. The seller describes it as a 289-powered coupe equipped with a 3-speed manual transmission, giving it the traditional driving experience many Mustang enthusiasts are looking for. The seller also describes the car as turnkey, fun, and reliable, with a long list of recent work completed. The upgrades reportedly include a new clutch kit, wheels and tires, shocks, front suspension components, brake system, exhaust, and an electronic ignition system. Inside, the car has also received new upholstery and carpet, helping improve both its appearance and comfort. These kinds of updates can make a major difference in an older classic, especially for someone who wants to drive the car regularly rather than immediately begin a full restoration. The listing shows 999,999 miles, which is obviously an unusual figure and likely reflects an odometer limitation or an inaccurate mileage reading. For that reason, buyers should not assume the mileage is actual and should focus more on the condition of the body, chassis, drivetrain, and restoration work. Personally, I think the appeal of this Mustang is its simplicity. A 289 V8, manual transmission, classic coupe body, and a long list of recently replaced mechanical components make it sound like a car designed to be enjoyed rather than stored away. At $14,000, the price is relatively approachable for a classic first-generation Mustang, especially if the body is solid and the recent work was completed properly. A potential buyer should still inspect the floors, torque boxes, frame rails, and common rust areas before making a final decision. The 1965 Ford Mustang helped create the American pony car revolution, and with its midnight turquoise paint, 289 V8, 3-speed manual transmission, and extensive recent mechanical upgrades, this example could be a fun and reliable way to experience one of America's most famous classic cars. Number 11. The 1968 Pontiac GTO. The 1968 Pontiac GTO is one of the defining icons of the American muscle car era. With its aggressive styling, powerful V8 engines, and legendary performance reputation, the GTO helped establish the muscle car formula that continues to influence enthusiasts more than half a century later. This example is listed at $36,500 in Cameron, Missouri, and is described as a very nice running car with only 1,234 miles showing. The car has a clean title and is reported to have no significant damage or mechanical problems. Under the hood is a 400 cubic inch Pontiac V8, one of the most recognizable engine configurations associated with the GTO. The seller does not provide detailed information about the engine's originality or rebuild history, so that would be an important area for a serious buyer to verify. The car is equipped with a manual transmission, giving the driver a more engaging connection to the Pontiac V8. For many enthusiasts, the combination of a GTO and a manual gearbox is exactly what makes these cars so enjoyable to drive. This GTO also features power steering and air conditioning, adding a welcome level of comfort and convenience. Working air conditioning is especially desirable in a classic muscle car, allowing the owner to enjoy the car more frequently and on longer drives. The seller also mentions that the car has received many new parts, although the specific components are not listed. Buyers should request a detailed list of the work completed, along with information about the restoration history, engine specifications, transmission, rear axle, and any available documentation. At $36,500, the car sits in an interesting part of the GTO market. It is priced well below highly documented, fully restored, numbers-matching examples, but it is also considerably more affordable than many top-tier 1968 GTOs. So, is it worth the asking price? In my opinion, it could be, but the details matter. A running 1968 GTO with a 400 V8, manual transmission, power steering, and air conditioning is an appealing combination. However, the relatively brief listing means prospective buyers should inspect the car carefully and verify the mileage, drivetrain, body condition, and quality of the new parts installed. If the car is as solid and presentable as described, it could represent a very attractive entry into GTO ownership. The 1968 Pontiac GTO offers iconic styling, classic Pontiac V8 power, and the kind of muscle car character that remains highly desirable today. For an enthusiast looking for a classic GTO that can be driven and enjoyed rather than simply stored away, this $36,500 example in Cameron, Missouri deserves a closer look. Number 12. The 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle Convertible. The 1968 Chevrolet Chevelle Convertible is one of the most desirable body styles from the golden era of American muscle. With its open-air design, strong proportions, and huge potential for performance upgrades, a first-generation Chevelle convertible can attract attention from both classic car enthusiasts and modern restomod fans. This example is listed in Woodstock, Illinois, for $65,000. The car is currently being built, with a planned GM black base coat and clear coat exterior paired with a stock black interior. The result should be a clean, aggressive, and timeless color combination. Under the hood, the build is planned around a 6.0-liter LS iron block V8, equipped with headers and a custom 2.5-inch welded dual exhaust system. Power will be sent through a 4L60E automatic transmission, giving the car modern drivability along with the classic chevelle appearance. The chassis and braking system are also being heavily upgraded. The build includes power disc brakes on all four corners, power steering, tubular A-arms, coil springs, and updated shocks front and rear. These improvements should give the chevelle much stronger stopping power and more confident handling than the original factory setup. The restoration and upgrade list is extensive. The car is receiving new exterior chrome, door panels, carpeting, front and rear seat covers, suspension components, body bushings, a complete brake system, fuel tank and fuel system, aluminum radiator, convertible top and boot, sound deadening, power steering components, stereo equipment, glass, mirrors, locks, weather stripping, lighting, and a complete exhaust system. The finished car will also ride on 18-inch wheels with low-profile tires, giving the classic convertible a modern restomod appearance. In my opinion, this project has the potential to become a very attractive blend of classic style and modern performance. The LS engine, 4L60E transmission, four-wheel disc brakes, upgraded suspension, and extensive restoration work should make it far more enjoyable to drive than a stock 1968 Chevelle. At $65,000, the key consideration for any buyer will be the quality of the workmanship and the final stage of completion. If the build is finished to a high standard, this could be a seriously impressive Chevelle convertible for cruising, shows, and long-distance driving. Number 13. The 1975 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. The 1975 Chevrolet Monte Carlo is a classic personal luxury coupe that combines comfortable cruising with the unmistakable styling of mid-1970s Chevrolet. This example stands out for its low reported mileage and largely original character. Located in Gothenburg, Nebraska, this Monte Carlo is listed for $10,500 and shows approximately 55,000 miles. The car is finished in white and is described as a very original example with a solid body. Under the hood is a 350 cubic inch V8 paired with an automatic transmission. The seller says the car runs and drives excellent, making it suitable for someone who wants a classic driver rather than a vehicle that requires a complete mechanical restoration. A significant amount of recent maintenance has already been completed. The car received new tires, spark plugs, ignition wires, a distributor cap, a master cylinder, radiator, hoses, and belts. The two-barrel carburetor has also been rebuilt, while the fuel tank was professionally cleaned. Cosmetically, the car is not presented as a perfect show car. The body has some hail dings, along with very light surface rust around the vinyl roof covering. However, the seller describes the body as solid, and the car appears to offer a good foundation for someone who wants to improve it gradually. In my opinion, this Monte Carlo could be an appealing choice for someone looking for an affordable classic Chevrolet with low reported mileage and strong driver potential. The recent mechanical work is a major advantage, and the 350 V8 gives the car plenty of traditional American cruising character. It may need cosmetic attention to reach show quality condition, but for someone who wants to enjoy a classic now and improve it over time, this looks like a practical and interesting project. Number 14. The 1962 Chevrolet Impala 409. What if you could take one of Chevrolet's most legendary full-size muscle cars and combine its iconic big block heritage with modern drivability, air conditioning, upgraded brakes, and a 5-speed manual transmission? That's exactly what this 1962 Chevrolet Impala 409, listed at $47,500, is aiming to deliver. Located in Wahoo, Nebraska, this Impala is described as the result of a 3-year build, with just 1,860 miles since the work was completed. The car is finished in a striking red exterior with a matching red interior, giving it the unmistakable presence that made early 1960s Impalas so popular. The centerpiece of this build is a true 409 cubic inch Chevrolet engine, identified by the seller as a 1964 to 1965 engine with a 385-7656 casting number. The 409 is one of the most famous engines in Chevrolet history, and its reputation was built on big block torque, strong performance, and serious street presence. This engine is paired with a modern Tremec 5-speed manual transmission. That is a major upgrade over the original transmission options, especially for anyone who plans to drive this Impala on the highway. According to the seller, the car can cruise at 70 miles per hour while turning only around 2,200 revolutions per minute, making long-distance driving much more comfortable. The car also features ice-cold air conditioning, which is a major advantage in a full-size classic. Along with that, the Impala has power steering and power brakes, making it much easier to drive in modern traffic. Stopping performance has been upgraded with 4-wheel disc brakes, while the air ride suspension allows the owner to adjust the car's stance and ride height. Inside, the Impala features a beautiful custom interior, digital intellectronics gauges with GPS, seat belts, and a Bluetooth stereo system. The result is a cabin that combines classic styling with modern convenience. Under the hood, the build also includes Edelbrock aluminum cylinder heads, an aluminum radiator, and a serpentine belt system, adding modern reliability and improving the overall appearance of the engine bay. So, is it worth the asking price? Personally, I think this Impala stands out because it offers a very unusual combination. You get the legendary character of a 409-powered Chevrolet, but with a Tremec 5-speed, modern air conditioning, 4-wheel disc brakes, air suspension, digital gauges, and a comfortable highway cruising setup. This is not simply an original survivor, and it's not trying to be one. Instead, it appears to be a carefully built restomod designed to preserve the visual impact of a 1962 Impala while making it much more enjoyable to drive today. At $47,500, the price will certainly appeal most to buyers who appreciate the quality and expense that can go into a comprehensive build. But with only 1,860 miles since the 3-year build, a true 409 engine, and a long list of modern upgrades, this could be an impressive choice for someone looking for a classic Chevrolet that can actually be driven and enjoyed. If you're searching for a full-size American classic with legendary big block heritage and modern road manners, this 1962 Chevrolet Impala 409 deserves a serious look. Number 15. The 1993 Buick LeSabre. Not every classic car is a ready-to-drive cruiser. Some are better suited for an enthusiast who enjoys diagnosing problems and bringing an overlooked vehicle back to life. This 1993 Buick LeSabre, listed in Norman, Oklahoma, for $1,000, is definitely in that category. With 137,930 miles, this red-on-red Buick has plenty of traditional full-size American sedan character. However, the seller is very clear that the car is not currently safe to drive, even though it does move under its own power. The biggest concern is the engine. According to the seller, the car has lost a cylinder, and the vehicle reportedly accelerates by itself, making it a serious safety issue that needs to be resolved before the car should be driven on public roads. There are also several reported fluid leaks, including engine oil, possibly coolant, and power steering fluid. The electrical system has problems as well, and different opinions have been offered regarding the cause. One enthusiast suspects the ignition control module and a vacuum leak, while a mechanic reportedly believed the vehicle might not be worth repairing. That uncertainty is exactly why this Buick should be considered a project or parts car, rather than inexpensive transportation. The seller does mention some positives. The car has new spark plugs, 2 nearly new tires, an alternator that is approximately 7 years old, and working cold air conditioning, although the HVAC system has its own problems. The brake shoes were also replaced several years ago. Other issues include a non-retracting rear seat belt, a missing radio and cassette unit, an air conditioning control panel that can become hot, and a hood that must be manually propped open. Personally, I think this car could be interesting for someone who enjoys troubleshooting older GM vehicles. The $1,000 price is low, but buyers should remember that the cost of diagnosing an engine with low compression, electrical problems, fluid leaks, and unintended acceleration can quickly exceed the purchase price. The 1993 Buick LeSabre still has some appealing features, especially its comfortable interior, full-size design, and cold AC. But this is definitely a project that should be transported home rather than driven away. For the right enthusiast, it could become an affordable restoration challenge, but only after the major safety and mechanical problems are properly diagnosed and repaired.